rice from Pakistan arbitrarily, and therefore, as we speak, the farmers in Tanzania cannot freely sell their rice to Uganda. The traders in Uganda cannot freely trade in the business of rice from Tanzania. Although this is one of the practical ways that the community would be popularized. A number of traders, approximately 120, when they exhaust all the rice within Uganda, the only advantage they will feel in the East African community is to cross the borders, if they are there, and go to Tanzania. All the villages carry the message, the trade practices of Uganda to there. Currently, starting last year, May, Uganda Revenue Authority has been charging 75% import duty on rice grown and produced in Tanzania without reporting to the law. I have personally traveled to Arusha, met the director of trade, who is a Ugandan, Kenneth Bagamuhunda, and he does not share the position of Uganda at this. But because of force, the Uganda Revenue Authority is forcing the traders to pay. So we are into the East African community and we want to do practical business. We said this is a business-centered arrangement, and now you are preventing me to buy rice from Tanzania at the agreed community rates because Tanzania did something contrary to the law. Was the trader Nowino involved? Is there no appeal mechanism for the 305 government? And I mentioned 305 deliberately because you remember during the Central Customs Territory issue last year, the three heads of state of Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda were signing some protocol for the implementation of the single customs territory, while Tanzania and Burundi were at their own beck. This is unfortunate because everybody in this house knows that the protocol main principle was built on consensus and not popular democracy. If there is an issue that is as cardinal as doing trade, we need to be sure that we convince everybody to come on board, at least for major decisions like implementing a single customs territory. Here we are, implementing a single customs territory at the port of Mombasa, and ignoring the fact that there is a very big port of Dar es Salaam. You are ignoring Tanzania and Burundi, and you think this is going to be an effective single customs territory. So this East African community, the advantages and opportunities seem to be usurped by the challenges that are monetary. When we computed last day, the Uganda Revenue Authority, since May last year, had cheated the Ugandan traders by approximately 11 billion Uganda shillings in taxes that are illegal. And the reason is, why did Tanzania misbehave? If Tanzania misbehaves, is there no mechanism to take Tanzania to account for her mistakes other than coming to me, coming to the simple trader in Dar es Salaam or Tanzania, any piece of land, growing rice, and you deny market that? So, as we came to this house also, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that as the business community, we feel that this is a marriage of convenience. For the challenges and the non-tariff barriers that we started with have instead increased rather than reduced. I needed to be told, that's why I needed to hear from someone that would tell me by listing how many non-tariff barriers have been removed since we started the implementation of the East African Customs Union to that effect. I will tell you that the presumption when we came to the protocol was that we assume we are now one. And because we are now one, the ports belong to all of us. Ask a Ugandan the number of costs, the number of challenges we are going through while we get goods to come to Uganda, compared to what the Kenyans go through and also the Tanzanians. So it is assumed that we own the port. Practically, the ports belong to Tanzania and Kenya as they have them. Therefore, you really weigh the opportunities of a big population, the opportunities of setting up the wonderful laws that we wish we would be belonging to. But when you come to actually do the practical trade, if you talk about trade, the challenges you face almost force you to come back and operate in Uganda. Think about setting up a business. While it is very easy for anybody to come and set up business in Kampala, look at the huge supermarkets, try with your 1-2 billions, and you want to set up a facility in Nairobi. You'll see the bureaucracy, the requirement to have a local partner, while here, everything is being left for grabs. It is unfortunate to leave opportunities of Ugandans to be shared the way others want, and then when you Ugandans try to go and invest elsewhere, Tanzania, the land tenure was different, Kenya, the bureaucracy in setting up a private business is very, very, very enormous. Therefore, in my opinion, although it is alleged, and we would wish that this is a private sector-led East African integration, it is assumed rather than applied. We need to take into consideration the different aspects of the law that have been put in place. Just a few years ago, there are several customs procedure codes that were ready by the East African community. A study that has just been concluded has shown that the Uganda Revenue Authority, the Kenya Revenue Authority, and the other authorities are using every customs procedure code that is put there to promote the East African community, and instead they are enriching themselves as particular companies and individuals, and with the aid of the revenue authorities. They say we need to gazette such and such a company, for example, to get exemption of the VAT under Customs Procedure Code 450. When they come to Uganda, a list that was approved of 150 companies, by the end of the vetting of the list, it will be 800 companies. And it's already done. So if we need to implement the protocol to be the real protocol that we need in business terms, everything that we apprehend needs to be followed. It is one thing to make a good law for the East African community, but another one to implement them and follow them to the dot. I will tell you that some 1 year, Kenya, without reverting to any law, blocked access to Uganda to produce the sugar. And all Ugandans had to do was to cry, beg, as if there is no mechanism of appeal. If the protocol was meant to open, how do you block the sugar that is coming from Uganda to Kenya without any revocation of any law? While I was following up on opening up for the rice for Ugandans to enjoy the rice that's grown and produced in Tanzania recently, the reason that was given to me was that you can see it and be serious. Did you hear Kenneth Bagambuna talk about this matter while Kenya blocked our sugar? So I asked the customs office, so are you paying back by making me lose because we did not come out while sugar was being blocked? Do we have the authority anyway? No, we should have loved to hear you coming up. So now, because Kenya did this and you kept quiet, can you also keep quiet while traders cannot access rice from Tanzania? Is that the reason? Finally, there is a very big industry here called the plastic manufacturing industry. In a bid to eliminate plastic bags, protocols were signed. And as we speak, before anything else, it is illegal for any company in East Africa to produce a polyethylene bag below 30 microns. As I speak, the biggest challenge that Uganda faces, the Ugandan plastic industry is facing, is the dumping of below 30 microns papers and plastic bags from Kenya. You go to Chiku, 85% of the market is being shared by Kenya, who says They are producing 50 microns for export. And the export they are talking about is Chikubo in Uganda. Therefore, how are we going to enjoy the benefits that will come out of the community in environmental protection, income boost, practical trade, while the protocols that are being signed are left aside and each country is instead implementing a different policy? I wish to emphasize this. If the protocol is to be of any seriousness to the East Africans, the legal mechanism needs to be distributed such that if I have a matter that I have to pursue, I have a local court in Kampala that can go into this dispute and follow up on behalf of myself and ordinary business person incurring the losses, and then the East African community will know. They'll tell you go to the Minister of Trade. The Minister of Trade will say, no, this has a financial obligation. Can you go to Mahakanis? No, this is not a matter of Mahakanis. It is a matter of the East African community. Can you go to the Minister of East African Community Affairs? By the time I'm knowing how to go about this challenge, the losses that I'm incurring are only telling me, please, better trade in Uganda other than trading as an East Africa. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Issa Seshitu. That's a great presentation. Our main speaker has arrived in the meantime. That's Honorable Shem Bageni. I'd like to invite you to speak to the meeting.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I don't know how to address the protocol, so you excuse me. I want to first of all apologize for coming in late because I was away. I just came back yesterday and there's so many things on my mind, but I'm happy to have this moment to be with you. Now, before I go through the few notes that I have, I would like to thank my friend Kasita for the very many issues he touched on, some of which I am aware, relating to implementation of protocols, in particular affecting trade amongst the people of East Africa. And I've taken note of the various problems you're going through, the bureaucracies, non-tariff barriers, setting the way of doing business, leading to increased cost of doing business. But I would like to appeal that Kasita should arrange and we have a kind of boardroom meeting when these issues can be raised, and we take note. Because as a ministry, we are a coordinating ministry, and we coordinate on the basis of the information we receive from the operators. and then it will be our responsibility to dialogue with our colleagues from the various partner states so that issues of this nature can be resolved. I'm aware, for example, about the issue of rice from Tanzania. I remember doing some letters on this to have it resolved. I'm aware of the sugar problem that has been ongoing. I'm aware of the paddy rice from Kenya, which was not allowed in Uganda some time back, and many other things. But that is not to dampen our spirit of cooperation. Those are teething problems which I believe we can get over. Now, having said that, I just want to run through briefly what the community is about and what we have so far been able to achieve, although this may appear to be on paper. First of all, the East African community East African Community is an intergovernmental organization of the 5 partner states of Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda. The treaty for the establishment of the EAC was signed on 30th November 1999 and entered into force on the 7th of July 2000. Following the ratification by all partner states of the treaty. In 2004, the summit decided to establish the ministries in charge of East African Community Affairs, and this was done here also in Uganda. The Republic of Burundi and Rwanda acceded to the community in 2007. The East African vision is to have a prosperous, competitive, secure, stable, and politically integrated East Africa. And our mission is to widen and deepen economic, political, social, and cultural integration in order to improve the quality of life of the people of East Africa through increased competitiveness, value-added production, trade, and investment. Now, the general approaches to our EAC integration can be put in 4 phases. The first phase being the customs union, the second one being the common market, the third, the monetary union, and the fourth, which is the ultimate, the political federation. Now, the progress so far, according to the treaty for the establishment of East African Community, is to be based in international progress through the 4 phases I've mentioned of customs union, common market, monetary union, and political federation. Now, first phase, the customs union, which we refer to sometimes as the entry point, the customs union was launched in 2005 and became operational in January 2005. 2004, and it became operational in 2005. So the customs, customs union was launched in 2005 and became operational in that same year, while the Common Market Protocol was launched and became operational in 2010. The Customs Union involves elimination of tariff barriers, which my friend Casita has been talking about with a lot of passion. These currently goods imported into Uganda from other partner states do not attract taxes. I know that the reverse might not necessarily be true, and I do appreciate what you said. The external common tariff, which has been agreed upon, so that goods which come into the East African region, the raw materials, are supposed to be rated at 0% taxes, and goods which are semi-finished, meant to be used